So the lesson plan that I've made accommodations to for Brian is that of a 9th grade Spanish class. And so at a novice mid-level, that comes out to about a Spanish 1 or a 2. So, what you're taking your freshman year of high school. And the lesson topic is an introduction to Day of the Dead, vocabulary, and essential elements of altars and offerings. So the instructional strategy, to begin, it's the para empezar, or the warm-up questions, and those will be in the target language, so they're Spanish. And the questions will be about family, and I think it's important here to let all students know kind of the function of this activity, and that reviewing family vocabulary is good because often when talking about Day of the Dead, family vocabulary will come up. But specifically for Brian, because part of his learning disability is to do with reading, he can struggle with decoding and sort of keeping up or reading text at the speed that other kids are reading, because he, although he's in 9th grade, he reads at about a 5.5 grade level. And so, often from his oral responses to things or his oral interpretations of concepts, it's not that he's not comprehending the information, but it's more decoding, he might mix up letters or something like that. And so for this activity, relaying the questions to him out loud to check for comprehension is good. Then also, because Brian is social, he's not, in your face social, but he can thrive in minor group settings or minor leadership positions. So encouraging Brian to share his responses within, a group sharing setting is good. So the first main activity is a slideshow of Dia de los Muertos vocabulary and informational slides. And so since students will be filling out a corresponding vocabulary sheet as they go, because the slides are formatted photo first, and then kind of giving students some time to maybe try and guess the word, access some prior knowledge, and then it'll be the word. Giving Brian the vocabulary list prior to the actual vocabulary presentation is good, so not only for priming, but also so he can refer back to words and have their proper spelling, and fill out his own sheet by, referring back to his vocabulary list at his own pace rather than, struggling to maybe keep up with the pace of the presentation or other students, which might lead to mistakes in his case, but he has the vocabulary list to proceed at his own pace. Then also providing him with a printout of the main text in the slides is good, so he can, again, read and kind of reread at his own pace, because oftentimes Brian, he may miss some key information or he might have a hard time identifying it, and so just having it there for him to refer back to. And also having it broken down into a graphic organizer, so again, it's kind of scaffolding just to help him have the tools to identify information, because it's not like he doesn't know what to do with the information, but it's kind of decoding and getting to the meat of it. Then also, strategic grouping and classroom seating is important in any language classroom to facilitate communication, but especially in Brian's case, seating him next to maybe a student who's doing quite well and a student who's doing moderately well, just to kind of promote peer inclusion and support. And so the second main activity is a Day of the Dead reading and interpretation slideshow, and so that's right here. And so this is kind of, the one talking about the main elements of offerings, and so there's lots of photos, and there's going to be discussion with this kind of more open, and some of the discussion can be in English, because in this case it's less about, the Spanish language and more just about kind of talking about Day of the Dead, so if students feel more comfortable, which they probably would at the 9th grade level, speaking about that in English, that's okay, especially for Brian. And so so this is the main text being analyzed, about the colors, the odors, or the smells and the flavors associated with Day of the Dead, and then, some specific examples about it. But providing Brian with this text, a printed out version, is good, so we can kind of, mark it up as he might need and have that as a resource to refer back to, as well as the slides. And then finally, as part of the exit slip, that's already kind of a part of an informal assessment, and they just need to sketch out a concept or a vocabulary word that they learned that day.